So it seems like there's been reports about the Nintendo Switch LCD screen. There's been concerns that why has the Nintendo Switch going with the LCD screen, with the goddamn crappy LCD screen instead of with the OLED screen. Well, now there's been reports that this is not just an ordinary LCD screen, that this may have, yes, there's going to be a huge display difference. There's a huge upgrade for the Nintendo Switch, and coming up on CMG, I'm going to go into the details on what these upgrades entails for the Nintendo Switch. And boy, when I heard that these upgrades and what the stuff that's going to be with the screen, I am excited for what's to come with the LCD screen for the Nintendo Switch. Because let me tell you something, I own the Low Leads to Go, and you already know how the LCD screen's on that one, and that is a pretty good, very good screen. It holds its own, and you already know LCD on the ROG Ally. So coming up, it's going to be a good one. Get your goddamn popcorn ready. It's because I am about to go in on CMG, and it's about to be a good one coming right up. This is CMG. What is going on, everybody out here in YouTube land? This is CMG, aka ChariotMan Gaming, and I'm coming at you with another video, with an exciting video. Oh my freaking god! But first, and when you see these, I gotta pull out the shades. All for entertainment, I gotta pull out the shades also. But first, for my watch time analytics, there has been 70.1% people have not subscribed. Please, my people, for those that's been watching my channel, hey, hit that subscribe button. It's not gonna kill you. Smash that subscribe button if you want more exciting content like this. It's been a lot of y'all has been watching, get entertained. Hit the subscribe button if you want more stuff like this, for more of me being idiots and throwing the shades out here. Just doing it for entertainment, to help you guys, just to enjoy your days for some great gaming content. But yes, hit that subscribe button. Now, on the Gamepost, we have the Nintendo Switch 2 leak reveals huge display upgrade, major specs teased. Oh my freaking god. By Zine Ollie. It's published on March 20th. So you know what? There's going to be an upgrade of the Nintendo Switch LCD screen. It's because a lot of people has been freaking panicking and ultra panicking because the Nintendo Switch came out with the OLED screen, with the 7-inch OLED screen, but all of a sudden people saying that the Nintendo Switch is downgraded. Not so fast.
Hold your horses!
That Nintendo Switch is only like 90 hertz refresh rate. The hertz on the old Nintendo Switch LCD screen, I think it's only 90 hertz. I don't even think the hertz is too dang big. All I know is an OLED screen, and I don't even think the hertz is about the same, like 60 hertz refresh rate. It's on that other screen. But this screen, when you read it, listen to the screen, has some goodies. But listen to this. A unique suggestion: the Nintendo Switch 2 will have an 120 Hz LCD screen with HDR and VRR support. Oh my freaking god, VRR support, verbal refresh rate. Are you freaking kidding me? With HDR, all right? Now let's back that up now. It's gonna have not only 120 Hz screen, but it's gonna have HDR and VRR. That's some damn pretty powerful tech right there with an LCD. And that's also saving money for the Nintendo Switch. But then here's the kicker. That's a lot. Not even the ROG Ally has an HDR. Not the Legion Go don't have HDR. This is gonna have an HDR and VRR, verbal refresh rate, and 120 Hz. That's a lot. It also goes into details. Listen to what it has to say, because it goes into details about why Nintendo chose this LCD. Listen to this. The Nintendo Switch is easily one of the most talked about upcoming consoles, and for good reason, with rumors swirling about its release, hardware upgrades, impressive lineup of potential launch games. The hype is an all-time high. Of course, the Nintendo Switch hype is all-time high. It's Nintendo. It has all the great games. What did you expect? It is coming off the Nintendo Switch's great massive success of being one of the most highly sold consoles, and Nintendo's most sold console of all time. Is about to eclipse the PlayStation 2. Of course, more power. Everybody's been anticipating the Nintendo Switch, of course. But also, while Nintendo is set to reveal more details about the console next month, leaks and insider reports continue to give us an idea of what to expect. The latest leak focuses on one of the most important aspects of any handheld console, the display. That is the most important thing, because when people play in the handheld mode, you want the games to look great. Now, back then, over 8 years ago, when the Nintendo Switch had the LCD display, the games looked great back then. The display wasn't the best, but we didn't care because it was something new to us. But when as handhelds like the Steam Deck came out, and the Steam Deck has used the 60 refresh rate, and now you have the LCD 90 refresh rate, then you have the ROG Ally handhelds come out, then you got the Lenovo Legion Go handhelds coming out, that all, and Lenovo Legion Go has a 144 hertz refresh rate, and then you have the new Legion Go that's supposed to be having an OLED 144 hertz, and it's also 120 hertz refresh rate on these LCDs and OLEDs. Hey, it's only right that the Switch does it too. Bruh. Everybody has higher refresh rates. The Steam Deck, all of them. The refresh rates at 90 hertz refresh rate. Everything is up. All the handhelds has gotten better. Even these cell phones right here has over 112. This is a Samsung S22 Plus, and this is an OLED panel right here with a great hertz refresh rate on this thing. So it's only right that the Nintendo Switch, of all the money that Lenovo and Vita has made with the Switch, why not? Also, if this new info is accurate, the Switch 2 could be a massive upgrade over its predecessor in terms of performance and visual quality. Of course, it's going to be a massive improvement, and I don't see 110%. This is actual fact that these are the specs of the handheld. These are the specs of the OLED panel. The panel is going to be amazing with HDR support. Oh my god, are you freaking kidding me? That is going to be big, man. HDR. Could you imagine all the games and what developers are going to be able to do with that technology with VRR support, and supposed to have DLSS technology in it? Come on now. But listen to this. This tells you, this goes into details and what people expect the Switch is supposed to have in the screen. But this is in their detail. This is what they got to say. According to Secret Boy, the Nintendo Switch 2 will feature 120 hertz refresh rate, HDR high dynamic range support, VR variable refresh rate support, and an LCD screen instead of OLED. In their words, they stated, according to the new leak information, the Nintendo Switch 2 will feature an 120 hertz refresh rate, an HDR high dynamic range support, VR variable refresh rate support, and LCD instead of OLED. But hey, who cares about OLED if you have variable refresh rate and HDR support? That's a lot. And you're gonna have, I know it's gonna be DLSS technology. The Switch is gonna be packing a freaking punch with this dang on handheld. It's gonna be packing a punch. This dang on handheld is going to, oh my freaking god. But listen to this. I've heard the screen supports 120 hertz and VRR, which should help a lot in handheld, although I'll reiterate that the screen is 120 hertz with HDR and VR support. That's what I'm personally most excited for. That's what people are excited for. The HDR and the VR, because VR, I had it on the Legion Go, on the ROG Ally, and if you have a messed up frame, it will adjust it for you. Now the Legion Go didn't really need it because most games have VR support, and the games, they had spectral technology, PC support, that it had high dynamic range. The LCD over there was 144 hertz, so it was already ahead of its time, so you didn't really need VR for the Legion Go, but people still wanted it. So the VR is going to do better, so they don't have no screens tearing and everything, because now I have an understanding of this stuff now. And the HDR, I have never used HDR, so I know that's going to be a big deal. If you have a display that has HDR, the games are going to pop out and it's going to look great. The colors are going to look great, matching that FSR and all that other good stuff, and DLSS. Imagine all of that good stuff that the games is going to acquire. Imagine playing Cyberpunk and all these great games, Resident Evil, and HDR, VR support, 120 hertz. If you have a 121 hertz screen, you're gonna be able to look, oh my freaking god, this just gets better. Also, I forgot to mention that it is an LCD. No idea about the actual quality of the screen, but I think OLED was always going to be too expensive for this feature set, which they needed to get into the first iteration of the hardware so that developers could optimize their games around it. So they wanted to optimize their games around it. Maybe in a couple of years, like 2 or 3 years, they might come up with a refresh Switch with an OLED panel. I mean, things are much more cheaper. It makes more sense to go with this. I'm not gonna go with the OLED. Maybe I will, maybe I'll know, but we don't know what the future holds. Right now, I'm liking it. We just want to see what the games look like. We want to see what this handheld does, what the OLED does, and that's what I like it. And it makes sense so that the developers could optimize their games. But let's see. Listen to this. If true, this means the Switch 2 could offer smoother gameplay with reduced screen tearing and more responsive experiences, particularly in handheld mode. It is a big deal because the current Switch OLED and even devices like the Steam Deck are limited to 60 Hz. With the Steam Deck OLED being 90 Hz, 120 Hz refresh rate combined with VRR could make games feel significantly better, especially for action-heavy titles. Games like Call of Duty, games like Fragpunk, Resident Evil, I could go on and on. You know, Metal Gear Solid, Splinter Cell, all of the freaking games, Bayonetta games like Bayonetta, Astro Chain, all the games. I could just go on and on and on with the exciting games. Cyberpunk, NBA 2K, all the Madden football games, all of the great games will pop, will make it look fantastic. Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, the screen tearing, okay? The games like Xenoblade Chronicles X, a definite edition that just came out for the Switch. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, all of the Switch games, the old Switch games gonna look better. Witcher 3, I could go on and on of all the games that this feature is gonna really serve the system. You know what? God damn it. You know what? The Switch 2 is gonna sell out the door. It's gonna sell out the freaking door. It's gonna sell out the door. It's gonna be hard to get one, and people are gonna be fighting to get a Switch. But you know what, my gamers? Let me know what you think about this video on the LCD screen and why the Switch chose it. Should Nintendo have chosen the LCD, or should they went with the more expensive OLED panel? You be the judge. You let me know. Let it all out in the comments. Just let it all out. Let me know in the comments. And all I have got to say is everybody out here in YouTube land is sound off in the comment section. Tell me what you think about the Nintendo Switch OLED and all the stuff that it entails that it has. And don't forget to hit that like button, share, subscribe to CMG, and to smash this like button, smash the subscribe, hit the notifications if you want more videos like this. As you seen today, I'd like to thank you for all of the support. Thank you for all the support in my streams. I'm gonna continue to keep on being more consistent with the content and keep throwing the content at you, keep bringing. I got more dope stuff content coming for the Switch and the handhelds and the specs that's coming with the Switch and more. We got a few more days away for the Switch to be released, and I put a thing in the link in the community tab, and I asked the question: is you guys ready for the Switch 2? Who, yes or no? I asked that question, and I put that in the community tab. But you know what? All I gotta say is peace, and I hope you keep it gaming. I got more stuff coming and streams. Keep it gaming. That damn game was crazy, and I'm like, and I'm gonna say peace. Keep it gaming. Peace.